Thanks for joining me today. I'm excited to learn about you and your business. I'm doing this series because there's so much talk about how hard it is to find and keep good people. And I wanted to know what was going on in my community. I think some of the trends we read about on a national level don't always apply here.
I would agree. I think everybody's having these issues in all industries of people not showing up to interviews and things of that nature. We have the same issues. We don't have them as bad, I think, as across all industries. We were having about a 25% success rate on people showing up for interviews. And actually, towards the end of the year, there got considerably better. And then we're like 75, 80%. And then we're back to about that 25%, give or take.
All right, well, let me back up. Share with us a little bit about what you do, what your business is about, and how long you've been doing it.
We're Senior Solutions. Actually, we're Bedrock Financial Group. Bedrock owns Senior Solutions, Bedrock Wealth Management, and Bedrock Property and Casualty. So we're primarily an insurance company. Our major focus is on the senior citizen side of things, the senior solution side of things, and taking care of their health needs as far as insurance goes, and whether it be Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, kind of whatever's best for the client. And that's the direction we go. We function in 19 states, and we have our home offices here in New Albany. We have a office and resource center in Stanford, Kentucky, which is just outside of Lexington, about a half an hour, where we are working towards having a resource center where we're like a food pantry and be able to help the senior citizen community there. And then we will have a brick and mortar location, our third location in Eastern Kentucky, hopefully sometime this quarter or early in the second quarter.
That's a lot.
It has been quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the key issues you're seeing for employment in your industry?
You know, what I have really found that the main issue is because it is insurance and it kind of has a stigma or a bad rap, that is getting somebody in to actually look at the job, take a good look at it, listen to what our company is about, the earning potential. And that's the biggest issue. Once we have somebody through the door and sit down and we can lay out what we do, how we help people, and that our primary focus is on helping people. And then, of course, we expect people to get paid. Nobody does this, just for the love of helping people, right? Everybody's got bills to pay, families to take care of. But at the end of the day, we want our agents to do always what's right by the customer and what's best for the customer. And we always tell them, don't worry, as long as you're doing what is right, the income will follow. And that's really been, I talk to people that are making $30,000 a year that tell me, oh no, I would never sell insurance. I wouldn't do that. I'm like, okay. I mean, our average agent makes $75,000 to $100,000 a year, but okay, if that's the way you feel about it, okay.
Are there any other culture things that make your business stand out in your industry?
Yeah, there are several. Our background primarily was running large life insurance sales teams, nationally recognized life insurance company. And so we had some things that we didn't necessarily like about that. We was like, this would be a wonderful industry if we can fix those 2-3 things that really we feel most agents don't like about it. So that's kind of what we set out to do. We provide leads to all of our agents, no matter how long they've been here, at zero cost to them. That's pretty much unheard of in our industry. Some of our people will travel 3-4 hours to work. When they do that, we pay for their hotel rooms to spend the night. Again, unheard of in this industry. We pay about the same comp and sometimes more comp than anybody else in the industry, but we just provide more. We provide a little more support and training. And then at the end of the day, we try very, very hard to run our company and treat our employees like family. It's funny because you say, I see on the back of your screen there, the compassionate leadership. And we try very hard to run the company on a servant leadership mindset.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I do a whole webinar on compassionate leadership to try and shift that for some people.
Yeah.
So as you've grown, You came out of a large organization and you started this. Can you talk about a challenge you faced and something you've learned from it?
Well, myself and I have two other business partners as well. I think one challenge that we have run into is just the communication between the three of us. One person's not doing something, the other person jumps in to help because they're not working on it. And then we come to find out, wait a minute, two people is working on the same thing. We're wasting time and resources there. Or one has something they're working on when nobody's working on it. So just the communication from the three of us. And we have started doing little things like we try now to get outside the office and spend 2 hours a week playing racquetball together. Or when it's nice weather, we might go one day and play 18 holes of golf. That gets us out of the office, not away from the phones. We still get phone calls and still have to do work, but it gets us away a little bit, gets us a little bit of downtime, and we can talk through things that come up over the course of those 2 to 4 hours that we're together that normally doesn't unless we're calling on that specific purpose.
What advice would you give to someone else who is growing their team?
Probably the biggest advice I would give is be bold. Don't think small. And I know that's easy to say because a lot of people will strike out to do something like this and fail, quite honestly. I'll be the first to say, like, I took a $65,000 a year pay cut to start the business. And I did that for about 3 years. It was significant, change in our household. It took a lot of support from my family, my wife. My kids didn't have much say so in it. So I can't really say that they seen the vision, but my wife did. She understood what we were trying to do and trying to accomplish. She believed that it was very possible. So I would say, be bold. You got to be careful. You don't want to starve and not pay your bills, but sometimes bigger really is better.
So if you started this journey again, is there something you would do differently?
I mean, we've made a multitude of little mistakes along the way, and that's part of growing. I can't really say anything in particular large that I would do different. Honestly, we were talking about this the other day when we started the business. Looking back on it, I don't know really what I was thinking. Like, I should have never done it. You know what I mean? That's a crazy idea that I was going to take that huge a pay cut and be able to survive. But we did. We had some hot dog dinners, but we survived. And
It's called the entrepreneurial spirit.
yeah, we have, like I said, we started with just the senior solution side of things, and we're branching out, and it's so far is working out really well. I see no reason that it shouldn't. The other avenues that we're getting into, we grow as aggressively and fast as we can without borrowing a bunch of money. We don't want to go in debt because if something goes wrong, the last thing we want is a big payment we got to pay that we can't afford.
Where is Bedrock Financial Senior Solutions? Where are you going in the future?
It's funny you mentioned that. Right before I got on here, I went and picked up a agent at the local hotel here that we flew in for his training and like introduction. And we're going to be moving into Texas. That is 3 areas actually we're going to be looking to expanding in quite a bit. Actually, I should say 4. We're pushing into Tennessee more than what we have been. Texas, Oklahoma, and Pennsylvania.
So you use local resources in those markets?
We try to, yes. And generally, we're going to grow to an area where we have contacts, people we know, people we trust, generally. Being in the insurance industry, I've been in a little over 12 years now. My one business partner has been about 15, the other's been in 10 or so. So we know a huge network of people. We don't try to go out and headhunt people, but when we stay in contact with them, when they're unhappy with where they're at, or they're looking to do something different, then hopefully we're at the front of their mind for them to call. And that's kind of the case. So we've leveraged some family members to grow into Oklahoma, some agents, family members to grow into Pennsylvania. We actually have a father, 3 sons, and a daughter-in-law that all work for us.
Oh, wow.
The father started working for us, I think he's 83. We hired him when he was 82, which I know is abnormal, but you'd have to meet the guy. He's awesome. He loved the company and us so much and the culture that we built that it took him about a year, but he pretty much right away, he talked once on coming on board, and he's doing great with us. That gentleman's wife started working for us, and then two of his three other sons have started working for us.
Wow. That's
So,
a very fun story.
one of the things that I take a ton of pride in is like our people, we have people started working for us that are struggling to pay their bills when they start working for us. And a year, 2 years in, they're like, I really want to buy this car, or I'm wanting to build a house, or what have you. We've got several of those that like they're able to do that because of what we've built. That brings me more pride than anything.
Good for you. I'm so glad you're not only building the people and advancing them, but you're building our community.
Well, we're trying there too, and I appreciate that. Sometime this year, we're going to start a not-for-profit organization so we can start really working on that resource center, having the food pantry in Stanford. And if that works out well, then we want to look at expanding that into other areas. That Eastern Kentucky area is something would be very valuable down there, and maybe even some in Indiana too.
I wish you great success with that. It's so needed and so important for business leaders to step in and take that role. Thank you for doing that. Anything else you want to share with our audience about building your team, keeping your team happy?
I think the biggest thing that I find in leadership and that I try to instill in all of our regional vice presidents, our managers, is that you got to lead by example. If you expect somebody to go out and work 8 hours a day, and then you go out with them and only work three or four is all you're going to get. Whatever you do, they're going to do a little less. You got to lead by example, and sweat equity a lot of times is going to be the most profitable for you in this business. Our systems that we have put in place, it is a sales job technically, but for the most part, it is not. We're looking at what is the issue that this customer has and how can we fix it. If we can fix it, we present a plan to fix it. A lot of our customer base is going to have $750 or $1,000 a month in household income. They have no money left over at the end of every month. So our job is to come in and go, okay, here's how we can help you, and find them $100 or $200 a month left over, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have zero left over at the end of every month, it's huge. We kind of pride ourselves on being advocates for the senior citizen, and we instill that in our people, our managers, and it kind of carries over to all of our organization, feels that way. Building that culture is not easy, but it's necessary to run an ethical organization and not something that you can't lay your head down at night and sleep.
It's about more than the numbers.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Well, thank you for sharing all of this with me. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure meeting you and hearing about your business. And I wish you great success going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.